to all the girls I've loved before.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
Imagine a single country tour pumping more cash into the American economy than the annual budgets of some actual nations. That is not a myth. It happened. And it proves that twang, steel guitars, and storytelling heartaches have evolved into a money-minting machine. Country music is no longer just songs about dusty highways and broken hearts. It is real estate portfolios the size of small towns, private jets that hop coasts in under 4 hours, and merchandising empires that reach every corner store. Tonight we are counting down the 10 richest country performers alive, or in legacy order, climbing from the most modest fortune to a dynasty worth hundreds of millions. As we move, you will hear about prison cells turned to platinum plaques, estates that kept earning long after the lights went out, hidden IRS files, vicious royalty battles, and rumors of secret catalogs locked away from public view. Stay until the final reveal because the gap between number 10 and number 1 is wider than the Grand Canyon, and the controversies are juicier than a July peach. Ready? Tighten your boots, check your bank balance, and let's march into the money trail. Number 10 is the ghost who never leaves the Grand Ole Opry, Hank Williams Sr., whose estate still collects an estimated $10 to $15 million. Williams died curled in the back seat of a powder blue Cadillac at 29, yet his publishing deal keeps humming like a tube radio. Whenever a modern star slips Your Cheatin' Heart into a movie trailer or a teenager streams Hey Good Lookin' for the first time, digital pennies trickle into a trust fund he never saw coming. Many listeners assume that mountain of royalties makes his descendants endlessly rich, but accountants insist it is surprisingly light thanks to contracts signed when television was still experimental. That limitation sparked drama in 2006 when a leaked audit hinted one major label had underreported mechanical royalties for almost 40 years. Descendants threatened a lawsuit, Nashville executives panicked, and a hush-hush settlement allegedly worth 8 figures was transferred behind locked doors. No spreadsheet escaped, yet insiders whisper that the quick payoff saved the label from an embarrassing courtroom showdown. One music historian claims the unreleased demo tape stashed in a relative's attic could add several million more if ever auctioned, though family feuds over authenticity have frozen any sale for now. For good measure. Number 9 is Patsy Cline, a velvet-voiced pioneer whose estate still hovers around $10 million, despite her life ending in a fiery plane crash at 30. Her posthumous fortune was not built peacefully. Those unsigned touring contracts scattered across the wreckage sparked a legal tug-of-war that raged for 3 decades among a sharp-tongued manager, 2 record labels, and a widower determined to protect his children's future. The dispute finally landed before a federal judge, who ordered a meticulous accounting of every jukebox spin since 1963. Lawyers fought over phantom royalties and missing master tapes until a confidential settlement shut everyone up. Industry rumor insists the payout arrived in a battered briefcase stuffed with cash to avoid extra scrutiny, a claim no one involved has bothered to deny. Today, her voice floats through commercials, prestige television dramas, and heartbreak playlists, each sync license providing a neat deposit that keeps the legend financially alive. Cline's estate also earns from merch, limited-run vinyl reissues, retro satin jackets, even a perfume billed as Blue Moon Sorrow in a bottle. Collectors swear a lost live recording from Houston exists, and bidding whispers have already topped 6 figures, but 2 rival rights holders are still locked in a cold war over ownership. Until they blink, the tape remains sealed in a climate-controlled vault, gathering value like bourbon in an oak barrel, awaiting its resurrection. At number 8 sits Willie Nelson, the red-braided outlaw whose fortune oscillates between 25 and 35 million depending on what the IRS grabs in a given year. In 1990, agents raided his Texas ranch, seizing gold records and battered guitars after claiming he owed $16 million in back taxes. Nelson responded the only way he knew. He recorded an album titled The IRS Tapes and let fans bail him out by buying it. It worked. Within 3 years, the debt was dust. Since then, the nonagenarian has diversified into biodiesel, CBD coffee, and a marijuana brand so successful that dispensaries treat each new strain like a sneaker drop. Touring remains his main cash engine. He still averages 100 nights a year, crooning from beneath a sweat-soaked bandana while grandkids handle merch stalls. Insiders claim his tour bus doubles as a mobile negotiation room where brand reps pay five-figure appearance fees just to share a poker game. Yet Nelson's finances stay fluid. One accountant joked that every time the singer finds an uncashed royalty check in an old boot, he immediately donates the amount to Farm Aid or rebuilds another small-town music hall. That generosity keeps his net worth modest compared with some peers, but no other artist on this list can say they turned the tax man into a marketing partner. Only Willie could make debt look that cool. Number 7 is Merle Haggard, proof that a prison cell can be a prelude to platinum. His fortune, estimated at $40 million, began in a grim San Quentin bunk where he listened to Johnny Cash perform and decided to swap burglary for a guitar. Haggard's outlaw persona later minted hit after hit, but the cash really flowed from songwriting ownership. Unlike many peers, he kept his publishing close, even while battling managers who pushed dodgy contracts across smoky bar tables. One promoter once sued Haggard for canceling a show, claiming the singer was too drunk to stand. Court filings reveal Haggard countered by producing hospital records showing he was recovering from pneumonia, not booze. The case settled quietly when both sides realized the publicity was poisoning ticket sales. Haggard also collected checks from an unlikely place, the Nixon Library. His patriotic anthem, Okie from Muskogee, became a staple at conservative events, generating licensing fees he reportedly accepted with a sly grin, despite private comments that the song was partly satire. In his later years, Merle sold a chunk of his catalog to fund medical bills, but insiders say he kept the crown jewels locked away in a separate LLC registered in Wyoming, shielded from public records. That hidden vault may surface one day, and accountants predict its value could push his estate far beyond the current estimate. Time will tell. Number 6 stalks and dressed head to toe in black. Johnny Cash left behind an estate valued anywhere between $60 and $100 million, the spread depending on which licensing deal you count. Cash monetized pain like few artists before him, and that pain sometimes leaked into his balance sheet. He was arrested 7 times for pills, set a national forest ablaze after a truck battery exploded, and nearly lost his voice in a lawsuit filed by an enraged park ranger seeking damages for charred condors. The case was settled for $100,000 and a public apology, but Columbia Records quietly recouped the payout from future royalties. After Cash's death, a new gold rush began. A biopic, a Netflix documentary, and the viral cover of Hurt pushed catalog streams through the roof. Yet the biggest windfall hit in 2021 when a fintech startup paid 8 figures for a minority slice of his publishing, betting that algorithmic playlists would keep Ring of Fire eternally smoldering. Family members were divided. One son wanted a full sale. Another threatened court if Dad's voice became a corporate logo. They compromised by inserting a morality clause that blocks political ads, though insiders admit enforcement is fuzzy. For now, the Cash empire thrives on contradictions. Outlaw stories packaged with deluxe coffee table books, sin and salvation sharing the same barcode. Fans buy anyway. Cracking the top 5 is Loretta Lynn, worth roughly $65 million and proof that a coal miner's daughter can out-earn the mine owner. She signed her first record deal while raising 4 kids in a cabin with no running water, then spent the next 60 years funneling raw autobiography into country gold. Money, however, was not always friendly. In the 70s, Lynn sued a former manager for siphoning tour receipts into offshore accounts. The scandal ended with her repossessing 2 Cadillacs and an entire production truck from his driveway. The shock inspired her to hire auditors who later uncovered smaller leaks in publishing statements, little drips that, when patched, added 7 figures to her books. Lynn also ventured into real estate with the sprawling Hurricane Mills Ranch. a tourist magnet complete with museums, motocross tracks, and a boutique inn rumored to be haunted by a Confederate soldier. The ranch reportedly brings in $1 million a year, but skeptics say maintenance costs devour half that. Family tension surfaced in 2017 when one son suggested selling the property to a theme park conglomerate. Siblings blocked the move, citing their mother's wish to keep the ranch as country as cornbread. The standoff cooled after Loretta's stroke, yet the decision looms. If the heirs ever cash out, analysts predict her net worth could jump by tens of millions overnight. Time may change minds. Fourth place belongs to Reba McIntyre, the Oklahoma powerhouse who turned a rodeo background into a $100 million multimedia kingdom. Reba's money comes from everywhere: album sales, sellout Vegas residencies, a 6-season sitcom that still pays syndication checks, clothing lines at department stores, and a stake in a Nashville restaurant chain. But the calm exterior occasionally cracks. In 2001, her then-manager and ex-husband Narvel Blackstock renegotiated back-end points on her sitcom, a move Reba later called sneaky as a fox in church. The divorce deal gave Blackstock a reported 15% of future merchandising, yet Reba stunned lawyers by buying the rights back 5 years later for an undisclosed sum rumored to exceed 8 figures. Friends say she wrote the check without blinking, just to keep family dinners civil. McIntyre also holds a silent share in a tech startup that licenses vocal stems to AI karaoke apps. If regulators approve new royalty rules, analysts think that slice alone could add $20 million to her portfolio. Reba ignores the speculation publicly, but insiders caught her joking that robots covering fancy better wear sequins. She continues to flip real estate too. This year she listed a riverside mansion for $7.5 million and purchased a smaller farm to escape paparazzi drones. Reba's fortune feels stable, but one blockbuster acquisition could push her even higher. Her smile, however, masks relentless fiscal calculus. Sliding into bronze is the late Kenny Rogers, the silver-bearded storyteller whose empire peaked around $250 million. The gambler made him a global folk hero, but it was fried chicken that fattened his wallet. Rogers co-founded Kenny Rogers Roasters with a former KFC exec, then sued his partner after alleging secret ingredient theft and creative accounting. The feud ended with a buyout, and Rogers laughed all the way to the bank as the chain expanded across Asia. Music still mattered: 21 #1 hits, endless Christmas specials, and lucrative duets with Dolly Parton. Yet shoppers at estate auctions whisper about riskier ventures, like the ill-fated Hollywood movie studio he funded in the 90s that tanked after one flop. Losses were quietly covered by selling a slice of his catalog to a pension fund hungry for steady returns. Rogers also endured tabloid heat over alleged cosmetic tweaks. He joked the surgeon left him looking perpetually surprised, but insiders say the settlement for a botched eyelid procedure cost 7 figures. Even so, the singer invested shrewdly in Georgia farmland that later became upscale suburbs. Before his death in 2020, he transferred those parcels to trusts for his twin sons, shielding them from estate taxes. Accountants estimate those plots alone will double within a decade, proving that the gambler's last bet may be his safest. And the house, it seems, still wins tonight. Our runner-up is George Strait, the taciturn Texan known as the King of Country, sitting on roughly $300 million. Strait rarely grants interviews, yet his balance sheet speaks loudly. 60-plus #1 singles, record-breaking arena residencies, and a live album that keeps slipping back into the Billboard charts every time gas prices rise and truck radios blast nostalgia. Unlike flashier peers, Strait plows touring profits into cattle ranches and West Texas land deals. One real estate broker claims Strait quietly owns more acres than some oil companies, purchased through LLCs that list unrelated managers to hide the paper trail. During the shale boom, he allegedly leased mineral rights to an energy giant, pocketing a windfall big enough to buy a private Gulf Stream without touching music income. Controversy? There is an unproven whisper that Strait invested early in a casino project pitched by a distant cousin. The deal collapsed under licensing violations, and filings vanished from the county clerk's office. Fans will never know, because Strait's lawyers pounce on leaks faster than a rattlesnake. Still, the numbers remain. Forbes estimates he grosses over $1 million per concert while spending almost nothing on pyrotechnics. That efficiency, plus a brand built on stoic integrity, keeps sponsors lined up like church pews. The king keeps his crown polished, and his accountants keep the drawbridge raised. In Texas, silence often speaks louder than guitars alone. Finally, we reach number 1. Dolly Parton, whose fortune hovers around $650 million and seems to multiply with every smile. Born in a one-room cabin with 12 siblings, Parton wrote 3,000 songs, still owns the publishing for most, and turned I Will Always Love You into an annuity when Whitney Houston's cover detonated worldwide. But the real engine is Dollywood, a Tennessee theme park that attracts 3 million visitors a year. Corporate filings reveal Dollywood brings in roughly $165 million in annual revenue, yet Parton's share remains a mystery wrapped in Southern charm because she holds it through a maze of LLCs. Insiders whisper that her private percentage exceeds what Hershey retains of its chocolate park. Parton's controversy is subtler than her wardrobe. In 2002, she quietly settled a lawsuit from a former bandmate who claimed co-writing credits on Jolene. The amount was sealed, but rumors place it above $5 million. More recently, she sparked political flames by funding a vaccine research lab while declining a Presidential Medal of Freedom. Critics called it grandstanding, supporters called it grace. Meanwhile, she invested in a line of pet apparel, a hotel chain, and a streaming deal that will turn her life story into a limited series. Dolly beams, jokes about never dieting, and watches the cash pour in like sweet tea at a Sunday picnic. 10 names, 1 genre, and nearly $2.5 billion combined. From Hank's posthumous pennies to Dolly's Technicolor millions, country music shows that a plain melody can sprout an empire. The fortunes differ. Plane crashes sparking court brawls, tax raids rebranded as redemption tours, outlaw hymns funding vaccine labs, ranches so vast drones lose signal. Numbers will shift, streams ebb, catalogs sell, and one viral TikTok can yank a 60-year-old tune back onto the charts. The constant is control. Artists who kept their masters sit higher. Those who signed them away spend twilight years chasing missing cents. Behind sequins, they battled lawsuits, divorces, and ego storms, yet they also built libraries, saved farms, and tipped roadies who needed surgery. That mix of sharp business and soft hearts keeps country alive. You may have come for gossip, ghost towns, botched eyelids, hidden LLCs, but you stayed because each tale thumps with human grit. Next time you hum a chorus, remember armies of lawyers and computers are tracking fractions of a cent for the voice in your ear. Money swings, legacies wobble, songs keep paying rent. Which star shocked you most? Drop a comment, tap subscribe, and saddle up for more music money mysteries. Until then, keep your boots dusty and your playlist profitable. One final kicker. Economists estimate that if you combined the annual royalties of everyone on this list, you could fund every library in Tennessee for 5 years, and still have enough left to buy Willie another tour bus filled with biodiesel and poker chips. That scale matters because it reminds us the industry is bigger than any one voice. These 10 artists are merely the neon signs along a highway lined with songwriters, session players, managers, and road crews chasing their own slices of melody money. The spotlight might fade, but the cash registers keep humming in the dark. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.